and I'm gonna start. Okay, it's on. So, hello everyone. Welcome to TEKTiTE Digital Economy 2023. And my name is Raissa, and I'm the event manager of TEKTiTE, and I'm really glad to have you all together today. Thank you for joining us in this event. TEKTiTE Digital Economy 2023, it's in the third edition of a brokerage online event held by Delta Tech Korea. And the main topic of this year is digital economy, with the focus theme area in healthcare, smart industry, mobility, and environment. The main goal of TEKTiTE is promote business opportunities and connect innovation seekers, solution providers, intermediaries, and investors. We hope that you all can find customers and partnerships during this event. And today's workshop is about environment sustainability. And the moderator is Mr. Harsha Lingan, Chief Operation Officer at Global Business Inroads in India. Thank you so much for joining us today. So from now on, I will give you the word, Mr. Harsha.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to firstly thank all the speakers for joining in today, as well as Delta Tech Korea for organizing this session. So just bring up my presentation. I just have a few slides. Just want to talk about a little bit about the market opportunities in India, and what how organizations like GBI can support international technology companies access the Indian markets as well. So I hope you can see my screen. So just wanted to kind of start with a quick overview about what India is going through right now. As you can see, India is poised to be $1 trillion digital economy by 2026. And in terms of sustainability and climate change, India has committed to achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2070. If you look at it in India, I mean, I'm sure all of my colleagues who from India who will be joining later will be talking a little bit more. There's a huge opportunity in various sectors, including renewable energy. It's ranked number 3 in the world in the country attractive index. India is currently the 6th largest market for environmental technologies, and the market is estimated to be over $23 billion. And if you look at India, the current active internet users is almost 692 million active internet users. So this kind of gives a huge opportunity for a lot of technology interventions across various sectors using digital transformation. You get access to a lot of information as well. Currently, India has also assumed the G20 presidency for 2023. And the government of India has laid a lot of focus on sustainability, environment, and climate change as a part of their G20 mandate as well. Some of the key advantages of looking at India as a market, it's a huge, consumer market. We have a huge population. I mean, we're going to be overtaking China very soon. But the only difference here is we have one of the largest youth populations in the world. So it's a very, strong captive market for looking at deploying solutions as well as uptake of, new and innovative solutions as well. We have a very strong English-speaking population, so that's, in terms of doing business in India, it's pretty straightforward and easy. We have very, strong business-friendly laws. We have huge FDI coming in over the last few years. Some of the big booming sectors are obviously clean tech, environment, healthcare, digital, edutech, infrastructure, fintech, and agritech as well. I just want to kind of give you a short excerpt of some of the major national missions that the government of India has kind of launched. So if you look at it, this is just a few of the sectors that I wanted to showcase. But of course, we do have a lot more other key missions that are focused on sustainability, environment, and clean tech here in India. So the smart cities mission basically was launched to develop 100 smart cities, looking at making them citizen friendly, in terms of helping citizens as well. We also have the National Green Hydrogen Mission, which was launched just a couple of years ago, to look at the development of at least 5 million metric tons per annum of renewable hydrogen energy to kind of supplement the clean tech energy and the renewable energy goals. We also have a national biofuels policy, which was published in 2018 and it was amended in 2022. We're looking at reducing the import of petroleum products. And to achieve this, we've also recently launched 20% bioethanol blending in petrol from 2030 we've reduced the timeline from 2030 to 2025, 26. We have a large energy storage mission. There's a lot of opportunities, and subsidies and programs around that as well, looking at energy storage. And in the EV space, I'm sure Vivek from India, from Buy My EV, will also be highlighting this. So we have launched a scheme called the Faster Adoption of Manufacturing and Manufacturing and Use of Hybrid Vehicles, called FAME. Basically, this was launched to encourage electric vehicle and hybrid vehicle purchases by providing financial support. We also have a national mission on waste to wealth. Basically, this mission aims to identify, deploy, and develop and deploy technologies to treat waste to energy, recycle materials, looking at circular economy as a whole as well. Just a little bit about our organization. I represent Global Business Inroads. So we are an international technology management consultancy firm. We primarily focus on technology access and deployment, focused on the UN SDGs, digital transformation. We have a presence in India with offices in Europe, UK, and the USA, and we've done a lot of programs in Africa and Southeast Asia, focused on knowledge and technology transfer between India and the rest of the world. So what we kind of try to bring together is basically technology that's SMEs, startups, companies, to technology adopters in India, which could be corporates, utilities, governments. We also support a lot of open innovation and technology deployment. And to bring this all together, we also focus on deploying and developing an ecosystem for technology deployment. So we work with governments, research and R&D clusters, accelerators and incubators, even investors, to kind of bring together the technology and the technology deployment piece together. This kind of just gives you an overview of some of the networks that we have. GBI is also an enterprise Europe network node in India. So we also have been doing a lot of other, we have also a part of other networks. We work with a lot of different types of technology suppliers, adopters. We network with close to about 50 plus global technology clusters. We've also developed a network of about 250 plus incubators and accelerators across India and globally as well. So this kind of one slide gives you, some of our key services that we provide to help international companies access the Indian market. So we have developed a portal called the Global Technology Interface, which is an online portal that is a free portal where technology companies can register and showcase their technologies on an online platform, where we also do a lot of social media marketing, as well as try to get a lot of technology companies that are looking for new technologies to understand and learn about new technologies globally. So we call that the technology showcase, so where companies can display the technologies and technology seekers can discover new technologies. So we've also developed a process called the TMI, the Technology Management Interface, where we support international startups and SMEs with market research, capacity building, mentorship. We help them with identification of local use cases, project opportunities, tenders, distributors, partners, depending on the requirements. We also support with technology viability assessments, So basically, one of the key services that that we provide is basically helping startups or SMEs understand the market in India. What are the complications, and how do we look at assessing what the product market fit is in the market like India. We also support with due diligence. We organize trade missions. We do a lot of cross-border tech and innovation programs, and of course, ecosystem development. We also help international companies facilitate meetings, help them on market discovery visits to India, meet with potential partners, and get primary feedback as well on their solutions or business models. And finally, we also help with commercialization and deployment. So we support with local representation in India for international companies. We support with technology indigenization, whether if it's a product company looking at how do we find local sources of manufacturing to reduce costs, support with IP management, technical support. One of the key services that we also provide is business model development. So we do understand a lot of companies in different parts of the world have a different business model based on their specific region or economies of scale. But what you have to understand in India is the scale is huge, so the opportunity is huge, and some business models which might not might be good in a specific region or a geography might not translate to India. So there's a lot of innovation that can happen in the business model development as well. And finally, we also help with technology demonstration and deployment. So we've also started a kind of a living lab program called the Global Tech Experience Platform, where we support international companies who want to deploy solutions on the ground, do a kind of a small test product, look at, again, how do we kind of make sure that the product is, working in conditions of Indian conditions. As in different regions, the raw materials could be different, and the various kind of other aspects could be different. So it's a very key step to look at demonstrating a product in India before scaling it up. Just quickly want to take you through some case studies in the climate action and sustainability space. So we've worked vastly on biodiversity and climate action programs. Basically, we have engaged with global innovation hubs, and where we scouted for about 80 plus global tech companies and startups that offer disruptive solutions in biodiversity conservation. And once we did that, we did this as a part of an initiative for two various programs, one for the EU Commission as well as a Dutch NGO called Common Land. Basically, the objective of this was to kind of see how we could bring in technologies from around the world and see how they could be deployed in India, focused on biodiversity conservation. So this is technologies from agri-tech, focused on crop management, agroforestry, looking at market linkages. So various types of technologies across the world, and we facilitated multiple B2B and G2G interactions between various stakeholders as well as part of these projects. This is another example on the sustainable transport sector. We're actually working on a project on EU-India Innovation Cooperation in the biofuel sector. Basically, the initiative we were looking at building awareness in the advanced biofuel sector and how India and Europe can collaborate. We're focusing on three major areas of applications. So advanced biofuels for aviation, so sustainable aviation fuels, SAF, looking at maritime, at biofuels in the maritime sector, as well as advanced biofuels for biomass, from biomass as well. We also supported the Belgian government in collaboration with the Hub Brussels to support two Belgian companies, Slove and Unicomer, to look at to help them understand the Indian National Hydrogen Energy Mission. What is the market? What is the opportunity here? As well as help them connect with relevant policymakers, customers, and industry experts from India to collaborate with them as well. On the demonstration side, we worked with Catapult, Connected Places, which is a UK-based organization, which it focuses on supporting startups. I see one of our speakers today is also part of the Catapult network. So we worked on them on a project called Innovate for Clean Air. Basically, this is an opportunity for startups in waste management, mobility, clean cooking, and air pollution monitoring to apply for a call and then get shortlisted to demonstrate projects in Bangalore, which is a city in India. So we supported with technology scouting and shortlisting of these companies. And we also supported one of the companies called Airbnb. And this was during COVID. So we helped them set up a demonstration plant remote or a project remotely. So they shipped over all their equipment to India, and the GBI team facilitated in setting up the demonstration project, identifying the partners in India as well. Apart from that, we worked on various Horizon Europe projects called Wide as well. Basically, we supported two startups who got grant funding to do viability assessment projects in India. So we had one project, a company from Belgium focused on energy efficiency and smart grids. And we had another company from Portugal that was focused on air quality monitoring as well. Finally, just wanted to kind of share with you that we have been working a lot with a lot of global innovation hubs on technology scouting and open innovation. So we work with large corporates in MNCs like Bosch, Accenture, Quest Corp, and Sun Group on helping them identify startups and companies basically for a specific problem solution. So for Bosch, we help them with identifying various technologies in the waste management sector. They were looking at smaller decentralized waste management technologies. We worked with Accenture on identifying deep tech startups in the agri-tech space. And for Quest Corp, we did a lot of multiple projects, basically in the power theft management, biomedical waste management, and in helping them identify IoT companies and startups in the agriculture, healthcare, and industrial domains as well. And finally, with Sun Group, we helped them identify, startups in the energy storage sector. They were looking at, how do they improve renewable energy utilization for commercial projects using solar as well. So just one last slide I would like to leave you with is basically why India is a big market now. I mean, it's booming, and there's a lot of opportunities for various companies in the market here. There's a lot of opportunity. The key is identifying the right opportunity and finding the right process to deploy that solution in the Indian market. And as GBI, we can support international companies with accessing the Indian market and supporting you guys with the development here as well. So with that, I think I would like to stop, and I would like to invite our, I think, yeah, if anybody has any questions, I think we have time for a couple of minutes for questions and before we move on to the next speaker.
So we have one question. Also, I would like to introduce the CEO of Delta Tech Korea is also joining us today, Mr. Song-Hoo Lee. So we have one question from him. And have GBI done any open innovation project for Korean startups?
So most of the open innovation projects we do globally, we do scouting globally. So very soon we're going to be launching a call with a large Indian commercial vehicle manufacturer who is looking for startups in the mobility sector. So once that is out, we'll definitely share that with you, and we're open to startups applying from anywhere in the world. Yeah.
I see. The question is because Delta Tech Korea also has an open innovation network platform, and we kind of find the work that GBI do in India kind of similar at our open innovation platform. So we would like to have a conversation with you about like a possibility, a potential partnership that we could be between Korea and India.
Definitely, we'd be more than interested and we'd be more than happy to have that door open. And obviously, as part of EN as well, I think, it kind of gives us a good platform to work together.
Perfect. Let's talk about when the finish the section.
Sure. Great. Great. If there's no other questions, I just want to start with the other presentations. Just wanted to let all the other presenters know that we have 8 minutes. You have 8 minutes each for your presentation, and then I think we have a 3-minute Q&A after that. So that we don't waste any more time, I would like to invite Sandra from Hydro Capillare from Latvia to start with her presentation. Sandra, over to you.
Yeah, hello everybody. Good afternoon or good morning, depends where you are located. And I hope you've seen my screen. Yeah, I just start sharing. I put on the slideshow. Is it visible? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I represent the company Hydrocapillar Tech, and we are located in Latvia. Latvia is one of the countries in Northern Europe, and we are one of the European Union member states since 2004. Also, we are NATO member state, and we are in OECD organization together with South Korea, for example. So our technology is quite unique radiant heat exchange technology, which can offer the possibility to for heating in one season and for cooling in another season. So our company is a manufacturer of the components for this technology in our premises in Latvia. We also do the planning and installation in Latvia, or in overseas. We are working through the network of distributors who are doing the planning and the installation for the local customers. And this is a business model which we would like to develop in the future as well, to find distributors in any country. So to understand better our technology, I should refer to different types of energy transfer, which is known. According to the physical principles, there are systems which are based mainly on convection, so of the movement of heated air in the room. Radiators, convectors, air-type heat pumps, they are working based on this principle. And then there are systems which are based on the mix of heat radiation and convection. The most recognizable example of heat radiation is, for example, how the sun is reaching the earth. This is the example of heat radiation. But if you look to the different systems, for example, Ondol heating in Korea is a fine example how the heat radiation and convection is mixed in one system to provide the heating in the premises. So the flue gases are heating up the stones under the floor basement, and then the radiation provides the warmth in the premises. We look in another photo. Another example is in modern times the underfloor heating with a single pipe technology. And the last photo is about hydrocapillar heating and cooling technology. You can see, according to this photo, that we have a difference if we compare with the single pipe technology. So we can cover a bigger space, and it means that bigger surface allow us to work with a lower temperature. Lower temperature means less energy consumption, less use of primary energy, less CO2 emissions, and also the parity of radiant energy determines the heat quality. So we have higher thermal comfort. So the main device for energy transfer in the room, as I mentioned, is these capillary mats, which we are produced for polypropylene. We're starting the process from the granules and going to the production of the mats. Also, we provide all other elements which are necessary for the technology, including the pipes, fittings, control elements, manifolds, to ensure the complete installation in the premises. If we look at the possibilities how we can use this technology, we can use it only for the warm floors only, if you want to enjoy only the heating. If you want to use for heating and cooling or just for cooling, you need to install the technology in the ceiling or in the walls, and then you can use it in one season for heating and for another season for cooling. If we look at the scheme of the hydrocapillar system, so it's for those who knows the single pipe technology with underflow heating, there are similarities. We also have the manifold, we have the control elements, but the energy transfer device are water capillary mats, and this is more efficient type of energy transfer device. To protect the system from the influence of different particles, we are using the heat exchanger to close the influence from the energy source. For example, it could be heat pump, which is very, very compatible with the capillary technology. Why? Because the heat pump is more efficient if it uses lower temperature. If we look at the coefficient of operational productivity, for example, if we have the water temperature in the system plus 30 degrees and outside air minus 7 degrees, our heat pump can produce 3.24 thermal units with one electrical unit. And if we have the temperature in the system plus 40 degrees, the heat pump can produce only 2.27 thermal units. So we can save a lot of energy in this. Our system is using plus 25, 30 degrees temperature in the heating mode, which is lowest at the market, which you can find, and plus 16, 18 degrees temperature in the cooling mode, which is quite high temperature. So if we look at the advantages, so as I mentioned, this is a substantial reduction of energy costs. Also, we can increase our thermal comfort, especially we've used the radiant cooling instead of air conditioning. So it's a less circulation of air, and with a less circulation of air, also less circulation of dust, allergens, and microorganisms. It's a high flexibility and functionality, so we can use different surfaces to install our technology, even if we have the very large windows where we can't use the radiators, for example. This system is very good applicable. And also we can reduce significantly CO2 emissions by hydrocapillar system, which is one of the goals all over the world as well. If we look at the different applications, then this technology can be used in different kind of buildings. Here you see the examples with office buildings, with industrial buildings, with historical buildings, with complicated architecture. It's very good for healthcare institutions, but I would like to point that it could be used also for cooling different processes like data centers and the cooling of PV panels, because the capillary heat exchanger, which is the main the part of the technology, can be used in many different applications outside the building industry as well. This is shortly about the technology, and I'm happy that I have the possibility to present it in today's workshop, thanks to Delta Tech Korea. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra, so much. And thank you for sticking to the time as well. Just wanted to check if the audience has any questions.
So I have one question. I think you already know that in Korea we use the heating system from Ondor.
Mm-hmm.
And this system is also developed based in Korea, right? So could you let us know what is the main difference of heating system between Korean and your system?
The main difference that probably is that we can use it also for cooling, yeah. So the Ondor heating is used only for heating only. That we can use quite low temperature in a system, which makes us very compatible with the heat pumps, which is the trend in the energy source. We can use very thin layer over this capillary mats if we need to make it invisible in the premises. Yeah, these are the main differences of our technology.
I see. And you also mentioned about lower energy consumption and lower operation costs. So we would like to know what is the impact of this technology to the ecosystem?
So with a lower cost of energy, we can use lower primary energy. Yeah, so we can provide less CO2 emissions to the environment. So we save the nature. Yeah, and we also save the costs for the companies and for the also private individuals which would like to use the technology. But also it doesn't impact the thermal comfort, because in many countries now, for example, in Europe, they are urging, for example, to decrease the temperature in the rooms to save the energy from 21 probably to plus 19. But it's not comfortable for many people. With this technology, for example, we have the examples when we have plus 25 degrees in the temperature in the system and plus 21 in the room. Yeah, so it's quite comfortable. So this is also a good advantage.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions. Sandra, so is this mainly for new, greenfield projects, or have you done retrofitting with this technology as well to existing
Yeah.
buildings?
It can be done also in retrofitting of buildings. As you've seen in probably my presentation, there was an example of historical buildings where they do the renovation. Then it completely can be used, and it's very good technology for that.
Great. And how do you manage temperature? So usually, like, when you look at office spaces, they have huge office floors, and some people might want, a certain temperature in certain regions and certain temperatures. So can you regulate the temperature based on the zone as well?
Yeah. So we have different circuits. Yeah, circuits are connected to the manifolds. We can control every circuit. Also, we can control the dew point situation, which is important in cooling. Yeah, so the particular circuit can be closed in case if we are close to the dew point. Yeah, so this system has also the regulation.
Perfect. Great. And what are the key geographies that you're looking at right now in terms of expansion?
For the expansion, as you understand, we can use the technology in any country. And now we are focused on European Union because this is one of the market which we were well known. And what we are looking for the possibilities to have distributors outside in the European Union. For example, at the moment we have the discussion about Middle East, yeah, but it's also our interest to be present in South Korea, in probably in India in the future, yeah. So as you can see from our technology, it can be used for heating only, for cooling only, or for heating and cooling. So particularly in any country where what kind of needs they have.
Great. Thank you. Just want to check if anybody else has any other questions.
Sandra, you mentioned about the primary energy or source energy, source of the energy. Where does the source of energy come from? Is it from electricity power or just gas burning? What's the source of energy? Primary source of energy.
Primary source of energy, of course, for heating or cooling, if we want to use the both modes, could be the perfect heat pump, any kind of heat pump, air, water, water, geothermal heat pump. If we want to use it only for heating, then it could be also the gas boiler, pellet boiler, centralized heating, any source. Yeah, but it makes, for example, heat pumps even more efficient if it works together with a low temperature heating and cooling.
Thank you. Any kind of energy source you can use.
Yeah, we can do with any energy source. It depends whether you need heating only or heating and cooling or cooling only.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I think we need to move on to the next speaker. Sandra, thank you so much. We'll definitely connect after this and explore opportunities. Next, I'd like to invite Theodora from the automotive cluster in Bulgaria. Theodora, over to you.
Hi, good morning from Bulgaria. Let me just share my screen quickly.
You're on mute. We can't hear you. Hello, Theodora, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now. You can start.
Okay, so I will start again, I guess, in case you didn't hear that. Yeah. So hello everyone again. I will talk about the automotive cluster of Bulgaria and how we represent all the automotive companies here, which are about 250 companies now, mostly tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 suppliers. This is just a very brief overview of the biggest, largest companies we represent in the country. We have very international corporations, so Bosch, which are all known, Alexis, Tata, Festo. The cluster was established more than 10 years ago, and currently we represent more than 11% of the country's GDP. We have 350 plus companies in various suppliers in the automotive sector. A lot of innovative companies with many sustainable solutions. This is supported from the foundation of the organization more than 10 years ago. This is how we started with very low numbers. The turnover of the industry was less than 0.5 billion euros. Less than 9,000 people were employed in the industry. It amounted to less than 1% of the GDP. Only 30 companies with only one R&D center. And now 10 years later, actually, the turnover of the automotive industry here is more than 8 billion. More than 75,000 people are employed. So there are 36 R&D centers, more than 350 companies. And the GDP is actually more than 11% now, according to the recent statistics. This is also a map that represented the companies which were back in 2000. As you can see, very big companies, very concentrated around the capital. And this is in 2020. You can see how it's developing, a lot more employees. This is per turnover. And this is the top 10 companies remaining well known globally, such as Yazaki, Sensata, Alchemix, and so on. I will talk about briefly the main trends which are here in the country, just to see, also globally, autonomous cars, connected cars, and electric vehicles as well. We're currently developing several industrial parks. This is one that's going to be around Sofia, the capital. It's going to employ 5,000 to 6,000 workers. It's going to develop about 2,050 cars per year. The second one is going to be in the town of Starozgora. This is in the south of Bulgaria, actually. It's also going to employ about 5,000 to 6,000 workers. And the third one is in Burgas, which is near the seaside. Also the same amount of workers in employment. And this is the most innovative project so far. It's going to be an electric car factory of the German company Ego. Hopefully the factory is going to be developed soon, and we will employ about 1,000 workers and produce about 30,000 cars per year. This is also a photo of the car that's going to be produced. It's an electric vehicle car. And right here in Sofia Tech Park, where I am currently, there are plans of producing an automotive and aerospace R&D center. It's going to employ 5,000 engineers. It's a very large-scale project that's hopefully going to take off very soon. One of the newest members of our cluster, which opened their R&D center in December last year, is Nidec. As I'm sure you know, the Japanese company for electric engines. This is the new development right here. It currently employs about 250 engineers, and their plans to develop it to 500 by next year. Another very well-established brand in the country is Atom Gastown. They produce aluminum batteries, aluminum extrusions. They also have about 500 engineers. Another very large company is Yazaki, which you also know. They have 2 factories in Bulgaria, employ more than 7,000 people. It's actually the automotive company in Bulgaria that employs the most people. The country is also very strong in the sphere of automotive software. We have several R&D centers who produce software for vehicles such as Visteon. They have an R&D center right here in Sofia that employs more than 1,000 engineers. Bosch also has an R&D center. They produce technologies for autonomous driving. They employ more than 550, with plans to expand to more than 2,500. Sensata is an American company that produces sensors. Actually, more than 80% of the sensors in all European cars are produced here in Bulgaria, thanks to Sensata. They also have 2 factories and an R&D center in Bulgaria. Melexis, they produce electronic chips, which are very in demand, as I'm sure you all know, in the automotive industry. They recently expanded their factory. They invested in a new facility, more than 75 million euros. Festo, a German company that has also expanded their facilities in Bulgaria. They produce automatization and sensors. They employ more than 1,500 engineers currently. And there is also another company that produces innovations such as Hanon systems. They employ more than 1,200 people. And
Hi, Theodora, can you hear us? Will you be joining back? We seem to have lost.
Harsha, do you hear from South Korea? This is Odin.
Yeah.
We are on the connection. We are connected.
okay, hello, can you hear me now? I'm sorry, I think the connection.
Yes, we can hear you now, but we can't hear you. Theodora, if you can wrap up in a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I think something happened with the connection. Is it good now?
Yes, yeah, you have a minute left. If you can wrap up quickly, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will continue from where I stopped. Another company is Kosto. It's a Turkish company. They produce interior plastic and electrical components. They produce, they employ actually more than 4,000 workers. BHTC, also very well-known company. They produce air conditioning for very large car brands and 1,500 workers. Standard Profile, they do complete sealing for the vehicles. And as you can see, we have a lot of automotive suppliers that supply all kinds of parts for all the large car brands, Mercedes, BMW, Daimler, and so on. It's a very well-developed industry that's growing even more every day in the country. And yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Theodora. Just want to check if anybody has any questions for Theodora. If not, Theodora, I just want to understand. You showed us like there was a huge jump in from 2012 to 2022. What was the reason for that growth in Bulgaria in the automotive cluster?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
No, in your presentation, you showed us that there was a huge jump between 2012 and 2022. There was a huge growth in the automotive cluster, sector in Bulgaria. What are the main factors that influence that growth?
Yeah, I think one of the main factors is the very good human capital we have here. Very good employers, very skilled, with high skill set, and also the wages are not so high compared to Western Europe, but so the cost of production here is definitely lower. There are several companies which are based in Western Europe or the US, for example, but have decided to build their facilities here because of low production cost and extremely skilled workers.
Great. And does the government in Bulgaria provide any, subsidies or let's say incentives for international companies to, leverage the automotive cluster?
Yeah, absolutely. Our corporate governance tax is actually one of the lowest in Europe. It's 10% per year. This is one of the main attractions. And also, there are several government programs which are designed to support large international investors.
Great. If anybody else doesn't have any other questions, I think I'll just move on to our next. Thank you so much, Theodora, for your time. I just want to let you know that my colleague, actually, our European office is based in Bulgaria. My colleague, so my colleague Lina, she's the director of GBI. She'll be visiting Bulgaria next month. I definitely would like to connect and see if she could come visit the cluster in Bulgaria as well.
Definitely, we should connect.
Great. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Francis Chung from Odin Energy. Francis.
Yeah, you see in Odin screen there?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Let me start the presentation. Good day to you all. Right now in Korea, the time is 5:20 p.m. It's afternoon time, but in Europe, it's the morning time. And Delta Korea, thank you for organizing this meeting. Really appreciate it. My name is Francis Chung. I'm from Odin Energy, an energy R&D company based in South Korea. I'm in charge of international business, and I have with Mr. Beck, who is the managing director in charge of operation and the administration in Odin Energy. We are the developer and the owner of renewable energy technology. It is so-called Odin, ODIN. This presentation will cover first, why Odin is needed, why Odin is necessary. Then I'll move to the principles of technology and business applications. Then lastly, I will talk about economy and business goal. Odin is an innovative and world unique. That's the first time in the world. Clean energy technology. It's a practical system to provide clean energy to the people in the world. Let's look at from this slide existing energy generation system. Wind and solar power plants are constructed and operated with large-scale farms. Speed and turbulence of natural wind affect efficiency. Also, in case of wind power generation, noise, vibration, frequent failure, and most importantly, complaint from the community people. In case of solar, there are concerns on generation efficiency, large space of land, and toxic material from the solar panels itself. The generated power at the farm has to be transported to the power consumers, that is, and the users, as you know very well. When the electricity is transmitted, a certain amount of loss of power. Also, we need to invest huge amount of money for upgrading or constructing the transmission facilities. In order to overcome the limits of existing wind and solar systems, we need innovative technology. It is to respond to global crisis. Odin will be a solution. Each country has set, we understand, certain goals to reduce CO2 emission. Odin can help achieve the carbon reduction goals. You see the Odin tower picture here. The tower is designed for one-time use, wind generator on each floor, solar panels on rooftop and sunny side, upper and low floors for various purposes. Because noise and vibration levels are within environmental standards, Odin can be installed at downtown. This is a very important point. Odin is a standalone power production system without the need for transmission facilities. Odin is a decentralized system, and it is the direction of future energy, as you know very well. Odin is augmented, wind-based, decentralized energy source. It is possible by generating wind pressure gas from the tower. We call it Odin Tower. This slide shows Odin technology principle. Odin adopted, for the first time in the world, Brown-Lewis theorem to increase wind speed and to improve wind quality, also venturi effect, whereby the change of wind direction from turbulent flow of the natural wind to laminar flow in a straight direction, and the increase of wind speed. Odin made it possible through R&D during last more than 13 years with the support from the Korean government. Our technology has been fully tested and confirmed. This is not computer simulation, and this is not just in a lab experiment. Through on operating on actual pilot tower in Jeju Island, South Korea. Odin Tower is a stacked and a cylinder type structure applying Odin technology. Installation capacity of each tower range from 10 kilowatt to 1 megawatt. In other words, 1,000 kilowatt, which means flexibility, and the capacity shall be determined depending on power demand at each installation area. Each power generator is installed on each floor separately and independently. This is a very important point, so that when one generator does not work, other generators shall operate. It means Odin Tower can supply power continuously with no stop. By installing solar panels, you can generate more power. Lower floors can be used for other functions in addition to power generation, like convenience or community facilities. electric vehicle charging station, and so on. So you will be generate additional revenue in addition to power sales. Each turbine on each floor is firmly fixed up and down with no pole. There is no pole as you see from this slide. So almost no noise and vibration and a very low failure rate. It means environment friendly and low maintenance costs. Suppose Odin Tower is constructed with 12 floors. The generation volume goes up by 4 times with small land space. Therefore, Odin ensures economy of power production. This slide shows Odin system main modules: generators, blade arms, and control cabinets. Odin has 118 patents in 57 countries globally, including the United States, European Union, Middle East, China, and Korea. Turbines got CE certification in Europe. Odin technology got awarded grand prize from the Korean government. The government also selected Odin as the best technology to apply to smarter cities and to cope with climate change. Because of the unique nature, our target market is the one that existing wind system cannot cover. Odin is suitable for remote regions, EV stations, rooftop of city buildings, and also downtown. You see several Odin business models here. As said earlier, Odin can be installed at the power consumption areas, applying to buildings, tourist attraction areas, remote villages or islands, and to improve urban functions as well. Odin is the most economical system when you take into account all costs. Even we have to invest at the earlier stage for the construction of the Odin Tower, but including land, life cycle of tower structure, and the maintenance costs. Efficiency of wind generation, installation of solar panels, additional income generated from the tower, negligible maintenance costs, they all make Odin competitive. Odin is expected to create new market of $1 trillion annually, integrating and influencing industries, including ICT and the digital economy, the topic for our meeting today. It means Odin shall create to economic growth and job creation in the whole world. Our goal is to serve the world with clean energy. We are concerned about the global market. Odin is not for Korea country or a single country. Under this robust plan, we are looking for a strategic partner like you, and we hope to challenge the global market together. This is our presentation, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Francis, for that presentation. Just want to open up the floor for any questions from the audience.
I have one question. Actually, I have 2 questions for Odin Energy.
Please.
So when I know that you are into the USA market as a prototype. So I would like to know if have you installed your windy tower there?
Yes, as said, we had actual, pilot tower in Jeju Island. We operated and got certifications from the operation. Yes, we come up with all the data from the actual operation of Odin Tower. We spent a lot of money for the construction and the installation of generators. But anyway, we did it.
I see. And speaking about sustainability, which is the theme of our workshops today, how does the energy generation from the towers benefit the ecosystem?
Of course, because of that, ecosystem and the reduction of CO2 emission altogether linked to global climate crisis. We have to minimize fossil oil as much as possible and generate power is non-toxic or non-conventional fossil fuel. So Odin energy is purely no pollution at all. So that anyway, somebody mentioned about electric vehicle charging, electric vehicle manufacturing. When you even for charging the EV, where the power comes from the fossil burning electricity or some other source, that's not exactly the real sense of renewable energy or eco-friendly system. You have to get the power from the clean energy source. Odin is the one who can supply the clean energy source. That's very key point. That's why during the presentation, I clearly mentioned about one of the applications is EV charging station. You can generate the power, from the tower, and by use that electricity power, you can charge the EV. That's the true sense of eco-friendly system. Yes, that's very important.
I see. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
If I may, I also have a question. Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you plan any pilot projects in Europe? Because there are a lot of funding in coming years available for the green transition related to the energy in European Union.
Yes, we are now closely working and our business partner in Italy to work together with so that Italian national road construction company to apply Odin system on the highway by creating green zone so that the power can be used for power generation, EV charging station, plus convenience facility on the road and the tourists. Of course, we have also partner in UK, United Kingdom. So we are now talking about various applications. And also we are looking for partners for other part of Europe, say your country or any country in Europe, would welcome to have business dialogue with any potential partner in Europe.
Yeah, because we have, for example, local communities which are looking to diversify the consumption of energy. So, for example, the model which is based on self-consumption of produced electricity, which can be used, for example, for large-scale heat pumps, and heat pumps are feeding the centralized heating system. Yeah, so this kind of project could be a pilot project, for example, in my opinion, in our country as well.
Yes. So that, as said, Odin is a standalone system. Constant power supply. That's a great advantage. And Odin wind generator can work at a very low speed of wind. So that, why not? We are now also talking with some Korean companies, including Samsung and Hyundai, to help them achieve RE100. RE100 program in the world. So that why not? If you want to build your plant anywhere in Europe, so that we can work closely for possible installation Odin tower there to supply renewable energy, even for your heating system.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I'm sure we can exchange after the session. And I had a few questions, but unfortunately, in the interest of time, I think we need to move on. Thank you so much, Francis.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call Anas from Donna, UK. Anas, over to you.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for having me. So I am Anas Ashuri. I'm the founder and CEO of Donna. And at Donna, we make software to detect defects in real time during high value 3D printing. By high value 3D printing, I mean making functional parts like aerospace engine blades using metallic materials. So we use AI, and I will explain later how it works, and materials engineering to do that. And basically, by detecting defects in real time, we shorten production time, so we save costs, and also we reduce the waste of materials, of energy, and other resources, because basically we avoid we help manufacturers avoid making a part that will be scrapped at the end of the printing process. So we protect the environment in that sense. And I myself am a mechanical engineer, and I did my PhD in materials engineering, sponsored by Rolls-Royce, and it was related to 3D printing. So it helped me commercialize findings from my PhD in this company. So yeah, as I mentioned, how does it work? So we use basically a camera, and then we monitor the printing. And then the video is processed by our proprietary software. So we use AI and including machine learning to track key features during the printing. And then we use finite element modeling to divide the build area into small parts for structural analysis. So this enables us to detect geometrical defects like distortions, cracks, but also strength-related defects like poor fatigue performance. And then we use ground truth inspection, so based on materials characterization, microscopy, to continuously improve the detections, the accuracy of detections, and also validate the detections that we do in real time. So we are mainly operating in the aerospace sector, and our partners include leading companies like Thales, Metron, and institutions from different industries like the Royal Academy of Engineering, Biden Aerospace Alliance. So as you can see in the picture in the middle, the interface of our software is very simple, fairly intuitive. It's fully automated. So it's you can see there it's on an SLM machine, so a powder bed fusion technology for 3D printers. And then the software is just highlighting the status of the printing, if it's good or bad. And then as soon as there is a problem, a notification is sent to the machine operator, and then supporting evidence about the defect is stored and sent to the machine operator. So basically, we are a deep tech startup, and so far we had the opportunity to be involved with Metron to 3D print for the first time a fully 3D printed bicycle that will be used to attempt to break the world record of speed. So our partners at Nuclear Futures Institute, they mentioned that Donna's technology unlocks the power of 3D printing for safety critical parts, and in our case, the nuclear industry. And then our partners at Thales, they mentioned that Donna's solution is a powerful tool to reduce cost and waste in production. And the fact that no hardware modification is needed to integrate Donna on the machine is a key benefit, because in fact, we do not need any setup. You don't need to have additional costs for the setup or integrating our solution in the machine. We simply use the built-in camera on the machine itself, or provide a camera to our customers. Sorry. So what we're looking for in South Korea, so we're really excited to do pilots with partners where we deploy our technology and help our partners decarbonize their production lines related to metal 3D printing, and help them leverage the Industry 4.0 in a sustainable way. We are also looking for partners that can share expertise in materials characterizations, and especially for metallic materials, and also in numerical modeling, like finite modeling or computer fluid dynamics, but especially related to metal additive manufacturing. And we are looking for distribution partners as well, especially machine manufacturers who make 3D printers, so that we can leverage our technology in their machine and discuss some distribution deals with them in South Korea. So we have recently published a paper with our partners, Nuclear Future Institute and EDF Energy. It's called Applications of Deep Learning Models to Characterize Manufacturing Defects in Additive Manufacturing Components. It's on our website as well, so feel free to check it and just to have an idea about what type of collaborations we look for. And we are also actively looking for partners to join our proposal for the UK South Korea call or competition from Innovate UK. So yeah, I'll be excited to talk more about this. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anas. Thank you for your time. I just want to check if anybody has any questions.
So Anas, are you also looking at the Indian market for doing the SLA print, wherein we can do the metal parts printing before we get into the large production manufacturing?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, open to collaborations worldwide. So yeah, we're focusing now on high volume 3D printing. So yeah, metallic parts can be an attractive collaboration.
Okay, so probably I'll connect with you post the call to see how we can see how we can leverage your technology for printing, because as you know, the metallic parts and even the plastic parts, we do FDM and SLA prints over here before we get into the large manufacturing. So if your technology can help us to bring out the corrections that needs to be done, then definitely I think it's a win-win for us to save cost before we go into the production lines or into the large investment into the tooling of plastic and other materials.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So basically, yeah, having a real-time monitoring can shorten production, as you mentioned. So our technology works as well for other materials like plastic, but we have found that actually, yeah, it adds more value for metallic material because they are just more expensive, basically. But yeah, we're open to more collaborations. Thank you. Yeah, look forward to catching up with you after.
Great. Thank you so much, Anas. I think if there's no other questions, we'll just move ahead. Next, we have Chitra Ranjan from PFAN. Chitra, over to you.
Hello, everyone. And by the way, Harsha, I'm Chitra Rajan.
Sorry,
okay. This is a mistake everybody makes. Let me just share my screen. Yeah. Okay, my name is Chitra Rajan. I represent an UN organization called Private Financing Advisory Network, where we mentor entrepreneurs in clean energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable development. We help them to get investor ready and help them to get funding also. Apart from that, I'm an entrepreneur too. I set up a bio-CNG plant where we convert organic waste into bio-CNG. Today, I'll be talking about two important areas which are where I focus. That is oil or the renewable energy, as well as waste. I'm focused on these two areas because I feel that the world today if I can use a word, it's a negative word to say prisoners. We are the prisoners of both oil and waste. To start with, waste is a problem in every country, whether it's the most developed country or the least of the developed country. Managing waste is becoming a big challenge for everyone. So this is an area where a lot of development is happening, a lot of innovations is happening, but still there is a scope for a lot more to be done here. And instead of looking at waste as a menace, it's necessary that the people around the world put their heads together to come up with a more creative and innovative and more commercially viable solution to address the problem of waste. Now, coming to the point of oil, we know the availability of reliable and affordable energy is crucial for the economic and social development of any country, because it is essential for running your homes, businesses, hospitals, everything. But more than that, many countries are heavily dependent on import of oil, gas, and other forms of energy, and which creates a major vulnerability, particularly in times of conflict. After all, no country wants to be dependent on others, especially for their vital commodities, and from a geopolitical perspective. Especially in times of conflict, because in the last few years, we are now seeing that countries which have the oil resources are flexing their arms, and they are arm twisting other countries to the extent that they are interfering even into the internal policy making of these countries. So it is very, very important that all the countries become energy self-sufficient and for their energy security. This is very, very important. And more than just being energy self-sufficient, what is important today is to diminish the strategic importance of oil. At one point of time, our salt was the sole food preservative, and it determined the course of world affairs, and there were wars which were fought over that. Then later on, competing technologies like food preservation and canning and refrigeration came, and that stripped the salt of its strategic status, and it became just another commodity. So it's no longer important as a geopolitical leverage. The same way, we need to ensure that oil becomes just one more commodity, because the strategic importance of oil does not stem from the amount of it we are using or the import of it, but the virtual monopoly of this over transportation fuel. So we need to ensure that we bring in technologies which reduces the importance of oil as just one more commodity. And in that perspective, India has now successive governments, and the private sector has worked very hard, and we are using a lot of technologies here. The legacy technologies like hydro, wind, solar, biomass, and the first generation waste to energy plants are working. They are commercially viable, but some of these technologies are now old. Some of them are 50 or 100 years old. And we have seen in one of the previous speaker from Odin spoke about the shortcomings of solar and wind energy technologies which we are using today. So there is a scope for bringing in new innovation in this field. As far as the current technology is concerned, we are focusing on bio-CNG, which is my forte. I set up huge or large bio-CNG plants where we convert waste from anywhere between 50 tons per day to about 1,000 tons per day. And we have set it up in multiple locations. We have brought in our own innovations, which increases the yield by 30% and reduces the cost by close to 50% from any other competitive product. There are other second generation waste to energy technologies like combustion, gasification, pyrolysis, plasma pyrolysis, and landfill technologies, landfill gas recovery technologies. And solid oxide fuel cell is also a new technology, which is still the commercial viability is a little shaky, but we are still focusing on these things. EV per se is not a renewable energy source, but the reason I have put it is this could be the game changer, which will ensure, if the world focuses on this, it will ensure that the oil becomes just one more commodity. The future technology which are coming are green hydrogen storage, microbial fuel cells. These are technologies which are still in the lab stage. Many private sector organizations as well as the universities in India and are focusing on research on these areas. Coming to India, we have a major problem is that we import about $160 billion worth of oil. We currently generate about 55 metric tons of municipal solid waste and 38 billion liters of black water, which is the water which comes from the toilets. And this problem is not going to go away anytime soon. The estimate is in next 15 years, this waste is going to get doubled. So we do have a big challenge in our hands, but this also presents a huge opportunity for the private sector to come up with new and innovative technologies in that. And in India, the government has been focusing on it very, very diligently. And today we are the most diverse, we have the most diversified source of fuel in the world. We right from a coal to nuclear. We are the fourth largest wind power generator in the country, in the world, fifth biggest solar power generator, and the fourth renewable power generation happens in India. So our country has, in the leadership of our new PM, we have come up with a very ambitious plan to make India energy independent by the year 2047, which will be 100 years of our independence. Yeah, we have set up very, very ambitious targets, like we want to be the world's largest green hydrogen generation capacity with a capacity of say 60 gigawatt by 2030. We want to produce the largest green steel, producer of largest green steel at 15 to 20 million tons by 2030. We want to be the world's largest electrolyzer with an annual manufacturing capacity of 25 gigawatt by 2028. The largest production of ammonia to export by 2030. And the government has allocated $1 billion investment into hydrogen research and development to focus on this area. So with the proactive collaboration among innovators, entrepreneurs, and government, our country has the potential to drastically reduce CO2 emissions, fight climate change, and put India on the path of net zero energy imports. This also presents today in India, presents the largest market and the biggest opportunity for entrepreneurs across the world to bring in innovation, bring in new technologies. We can collaborate, we can and look at technology transfer so that we all can work together to make this world a little bit more greener. Thank you. If we have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Chitra. Does anybody have any questions? If not, Dr. Chitra, just one quick question, just putting your PFAN hat on. Do you also support like international companies like, want to come set up looking at projects in India, providing them advisory services and investments as well?
See, we usually prefer to work with individual entrepreneurs who are in the scale-up stage. But there is a good technology which somebody wants to come in. See, we have presence in Latin America, Africa, and Far Eastern countries. And in this Asian region, we are in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India. So if anybody wants to come into any of these countries, we have our local presence there. We have our local country coordinators and advisors who can help in collaborating with the right partners in that country.
Oh.
I just have something to say because I think the project of Odin Energy, the company that is present from South Korea, also there's some similarities with your project. I don't know, it just came to my mind that could be really interesting to make some connection with you guys. Maybe you can do some partnerships together.
Definitely. That's what I said. India has a huge opportunity today to collaborate with others. So I would definitely be happy to connect with you. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chitra. I think we need to move on. Next, we have Vivek from Buy My EV. You probably like to talk about the EV sector in India and where we're headed. Vivek, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Harsha. You guys are able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, good morning, and good evening for people across the globe who are participating in this meeting today. And thank you so much for taking out time of the busy schedule to come and listen to the different innovative things that are happening across the globe. So today I would mainly touch basing on the India aspect, like how big the two-wheeler mobility space is in India, and what are the opportunities lie, and what is Buy My EV basically doing in the same space. So if you look at the Indian market, I think globally we all know that India is the largest two-wheeler market space after China, wherein today, as of today, every year we are churning out around 15 million two-wheelers which are getting added to the on the road. So now coming to the EV space alone, the CAGR says 87% growth is there. And by 2025, the projections are every year we should be crossing 3 million units to be added, which will be replacing the ICE engines, and you will have two-wheelers being replaced from ICE engine to electric mobility space. So that is how big the the market looks like, and you can see the growth in this chart, which is actually projected based on the CAGR inputs and SMAV data that is available from the government. It has got a hockey stick growth starting from 2023 onwards. That means the market is so big, even though the number of players are going to increase, everybody will have a opportunity to prove their get a slice out of the big market share that is currently there. And since EV mobility is a emerging market, so the legacy players will also be competing with startups like Buy My EV, wherein we will be going head on with each other. And only thing that differentiates between us will be the the technology and the quality of the product that comes into the market, which the consumers are going to prefer to use it for their commute. Now moving on to since in India we don't have the in Korea you guys manufacture your own lithium-ion cells, but in India as of today it is not there. We are dependent on external agencies, be it China, be it Korea, be it Japan, to have these battery packs built. So government is helping us in giving the subsidies for each vehicle that gets sold into the consumer market, wherein government has put aside around 10,000 crores, which is a huge money. Basically, this is to ensure that the adoption happens quicker and faster, and somebody planning to buy a new two-wheeler in the ICE market will think twice, because he's going to get good subsidy on the vehicle, which is going to be passed on to the consumer, and also it is on par with performance, as well as his running costs are going to definitely come down by switching to electric mobility. So that way the government is pushing a lot to ensure that the faster adoption happens at the both in B2C market, B2B market, as well as B2G market. So we are also we have done a lot of pilot programs. We have worked with Catapult on the same things, wherein we have done the Church Street First event with Catapult UK, where we were one of the SMEs which got selected to go ahead and showcase our vehicles and give the customer first-hand experience of how it feels to switch from a ICE engine to an electric vehicle. So the response was very good, and we have also continuously been working with them on air quality index, because as of today the air quality index is being measured at a single point, but we have built a solution to add it on as a feature on these two-wheelers, so that wherever these vehicles are deployed or being driven, the government can collect the data and see how the air quality index is at each of the locations, instead of getting the values at a single point, which is done as of today. Now, when it comes to the consumer market, consumer market is also very tricky. So, what are the factors that they look for in the electric mobility? Is basically, like, the battery quality is top priority for the consumer, and also they are very price conscious. Now, with the government's FAME 2 subsidy kicking in and helping the OEM manufacturers to support, this price is also, like, is being managed well, and we are able to, in the market, in the Indian market, people are able to purchase a electric two-wheeler which is on par with their ICE engines, which currently they are utilizing, and with BS6 being made mandatory for even two-wheelers. The costs of ICE engines have also shooted up, which is made the consumer to think twice before he makes a choice between ICE and electric vehicle. And the third thing that they basically look for is the after sales network, which which is because they are switching from ICE engine, so they have the tendency that what happens if my vehicle breaks down, and how is the service network, and what is the battery replacement cost for me once I start driving this vehicle, and what is the range I get when I buy this, and how do I charge? What are the charging infrastructures that are available, and how much time I need to spend to do the charging, and what are the features I get, and what is the speed that I can achieve on these electric two-wheelers. So if you see, batteries is the top priority and price is the top priority for the Indian consumer market, whereas speed and features they're not really very keen on seeing. Vehicle range is again in the 80% of them want it to be they want good range to be given for their electric two-wheelers when they make the switch from ICE engine, because as of today in ICE engines they do a average of 80 to 100 kilometers in the urban space, and in the tier 2 tier 3 cities they do around 50 plus kilometers. So now when they replace it, they want the same kind of range to be available for them to drive their vehicles, so that they don't fall into the range anxiety category, and they can make the switch to the electric vehicle. Now, speed is not of a concern because of the urban spaces are already cluttered, and the top speed that you can touch will be like 40 45 kilometers per hour, not beyond that, because of the traffic and the signals and the congestions that are there. But definitely, they want good range to be there, and good features to be made available, as well as the charging times. Like they don't want to spend 8 to 10 hours charging their vehicles, but they are okay to go for swap based technology, as well as when they put it for charge at their home or office space, and within 3 to 4 hours the batteries get fully charged. So that's what is the consumer market's requirement, which has been catered by many of the companies which are already in the market. And we have also built our two-wheelers on the same lines, and we are soon going to enter into the two-wheeler space market in 2023 financial year. And again, one of the basic questions they all ask is like, why is it so expensive? So globally, I think the battery packs which we build are currently being imported, and we need to build a lot of technology on top of it, the battery management system, and ensure that it is more safer and doesn't catch fire, and make it foolproof, so that it gives them the confidence. So over a period of time, though the prices are declining, but still, as of today, the price is somewhere around 100 to 120 US dollar per kilowatt hour. So if you see the overall costing, 40% of the cost is going only for the battery packs. If somebody builds a 3 kilowatt battery pack, so the cost is coming around 400 to 500 US dollar just for the pack to be built. Now, along with that, also the vehicle, other electronics also needs to be built. And in FAME 2, the government has put in a cap that you cannot import your vehicles outside of India. Everything needs to be manufactured, especially the battery packs needs to be manufactured in India. Only the cells can be imported, and all the electronics and the technology needs to be manufactured and built in India. So from BuyBuy's perspective, what I want to highlight here is we fall into the category where we have designed, developed, and also we have put in a supply chain within India to have these vehicles manufactured. The only dependency that we have currently with the external world is, one is the semiconductors, and the second thing is the lithium ion cells, which we don't have a support in India, because nobody is currently manufacturing them, and the government is laying out plans to do those setups and other things, which is going to take time. But as of today, because of these dependencies, we have a high cost of the vehicle, and if these things are also localized, I think the prices are also going to come down quickly in the two-wheeler space because of the volumes. Now, what is the investment opportunity if somebody is thinking about it in India? I think in the last 1 or 2 years, specifically in the EV two-wheeler manufacturer space, $500 million has been invested for different companies and different startups. And I've taken only the data which is having higher investments. But if you see overall investments is crossed already $1 billion. I think Harsha also mentioned that in one of his slides. Most of it is FDI investment, which is coming from US or Korea or Europe and UK region. The reason being because of the volume which I spoke in the earlier slide. We are the largest space where we are going to do that electrification conversion from ICE to electrification. So there is a huge opportunity both in terms of manufacturing and bringing in technology, and which I think as of today India is staying ahead in that game and competing directly with the Chinese manufacturers, wherein we are on par with the technology and manufacturing, because automotive manufacturing is already India is #1 in the two-wheeler space. So that has already been mastered, how to manufacture a two-wheeler. So only thing that startups like us are adding is we are bringing in technology, and we are also bringing in the design aspects of the vehicle, so that we have full control on the vehicle. And even people who are working in the shared mobility, wherein they source these vehicles from the OEMs and two-wheeler manufacturers, they have also seen a huge investment coming into the Indian shared mobility space, which is almost close to $500 million in the last 1.5 years. The reason being because of the huge population that all these urban spaces have. So how much ever options are available for mobility still gets consumed, and there is opportunity for new ideas and new deployments to be done. So that's on the investment aspects. So now coming to the vehicle that we have built a two-wheeler which caters for the Indian market as well as to the global market, wherein we can take these vehicles outside of India as well. The vehicle is named as Indie Bike, and specifically from scratch till till the pre-production, what we have done is we have kept the Indian consumer market in mind, and we did a pilot run of these from 2019 for a year, and we collected around 1 lakh kilometers of data to understand the dynamics, how much of a range they require, and what is the charge cycle they do, and what is the range anxieties that these customers have. And we have solved all those problems in the new model that we have brought into the market. So this is exactly the the two-wheeler that we have built and which will be soon entering into the market. So in our case, what we have done is we have made a swappable battery, so that either we can build swap stations, and I think Audin mentioned that they have a clean energy solution. We did a pilot project with Selco in India, wherein what we did is we used solar energy to store the energy and then charge these battery packs and then use it on the vehicle. Because as as Francis mentioned in his slide, as of today, we are burning a lot of coal somewhere else to get this electricity generated. We did that project just to give an idea to the government and to other governing bodies. Even in Catapult, we had highlighted this, whatever the project we had done. So just when we talk of EV mobility, we talk of clean energy and other things, but we have to also ensure and have solutions ready which will actually build complete clean energy. So this pilot project, what we did was to showcase that for EV there is scope and opportunity to bring in the clean energy, wherein you don't burn coal and generate electricity to charge these vehicles. And I think Audin Energy also has the same ideology, wherein the charging infrastructure, whatever is required to be built across the nation and cities, can utilize this clean energy models and technology, so that when we do that shift to the EV vehicles, you're not actually spoiling the environment. Instead, you're making it better place. So our theory has been like, we are more focused, creative, and sustainable. So we have built swap stations using these solar-based panels so that, we want to deploy these wherever, when we go to tier 3 and tier 4 cities, for them to switch to electric mobility, the first question is like, how much of power and how do I generate this one? So now with this pilot solution, what we have built, we will be able to, ask them to switch to the EV model, wherein like, they don't have any dependency on the grid for, charging their EVs. So if there are any questions and answers I can take, but there is a lot of detailing which, we can talk on the Indian market in the two-wheeler space, because, charging infrastructure and swapping stations are all different models available in the Indian market because of the large market that we have. But definitely we are looking at, opportunities where like, some technology can be brought in, which can, make it more clean and sustainable for the, in the mobility space.
Great. Thank you so much, Vivek, for that. And yeah, I think we've gone a little over time. So if anybody has any questions, we can take that now.
I have just one question, because TEKTiTE Korea has some clients in Korea, Korean companies that they manufacturing motor or other tools for small vehicles. So I want to know if you are open to a partnership with this kind of companies, and I can like set up a meeting with your company and their kind of companies. Maybe you can do something.
Sure, we can we can get on a call and discuss more on the technical aspects of like what we have built and what is the future roadmap for us. Because as of today, like we are also in this in the process of going into production and selling these vehicles into the Indian market and collect a lot of data and improvise on the vehicles in the that is our go-to-market strategy. And we have a big roadmap also, like we are also working on four-wheeler. So probably if they are working in the motors and controllers, definitely we can collaborate and see like what we can get out of it.
Sure, I will contact Harsha after the meeting, and then we can do a Zoom meeting with the Korean companies and with you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the contrary, this is Odin Energy in Korea. Thank you, Mr. Shatanaka. Very impressive presentation. So anyway, you are connected to certain energy utilization in your country. Of course, as you mentioned, India country is a huge market, no doubt. So that if you have any willingness, or partnership with Odin, then we can extend our business discussions. You can
definitely we will do so. Definitely.
So that and one thing, our thing is we can only transfer our technology to your country, and you can do rest of the job, say construction of the power and everything, procurement of the material, you can do for yourself. That's in your audience strategy, so that if you have certain manufacturing facility or manufacturing base in your country, yes, it will be a great opportunity for you.
We will definitely explore, Francis. I think mobility and clean energy should go hand in hand, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
So
you.
definitely, Francis, I think through TEKTiTE and GBI, we can facilitate those discussions and take those forward as well. I think with that, we'll come to the end of our time. Firstly, I'd like to thank TEKTiTE again for bringing us all together. And especially thank you to all the speakers. Thank you so much for spending this time and joining us today. And obviously, any kind of collab, contact details, you can either reach out to us or to TEKTiTE, and we will definitely support you with that. Rasha, over to you. I think we can conclude.
Sure. Thank you. So thank you so much for all the great presentations today. Today, I think we have many contacts here that during the workshop we could like connect some companies that after the meeting we will connect them. So I'm really satisfied with our meeting today. Because of that, I think we can do great business opportunities and partnerships for the future. And also I would like to share my contact here, just a second. Yes. So this is my contact information. So if there's any company here or watching from YouTube that would like to contact with one of our presenters, I would like to ask them to send me an email or contact me by phone, okay? And then we will organize a B2B match meeting with the companies, okay? And again, thank you so much for all the participants here, and also the participants, our users on YouTube that are watching there, and also watching from our TEKTiTE platform. And I would like to say have a great night and also have a great day, depends of your country. And tomorrow you have a smart industry workshop, so see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you.